Okay. Okay, I think last time we took the shortcut. This time we'll do the whole proper teleports.
My warriors are but shadows of my skill, child.
For some reason you got them wearing katanas.
The towering metal structure gave birth to these wraiths. I could hazard only a guess at its function. Fusing the souls of long-dead warriors to their armor so that they may do battle once again. Life without blood? What a travesty!
Do you hope to best me, Kain? Do not worry. Your challenge will not go unmet.
Promises, promises. Hey, Michael.
Your undeath does not make you immortal, vampire.
Whoever voiced done the voice of Malik. It doesn't sound like any of the any of the usual ones. Obviously, Simon Templeman and Tony J and such and all. They're pretty iconic voices, but his is it's a weird one to place. Oh, I forgot about that little sneaky little puzzle. They're coming along pretty well. I fixed a few more little textures and issues last night again. Added some new materials from Quixel to some of the locations as well, so it looks even better. There's also a the new content for March for the Unreal, like they do free content each month, and the new stuff they put in this month had it had a little system that'll come in very handy when I make up the slow time artifact and ability for that. The ability then to just like speed up the time and stuff and all of everyone around you, so that'll come in very handy for that. Of course, now the buggers have decided to put on a sale for March as well. They always put on the sales
My eyes
at the worst possible
yearned from lack of
times.
contrast. My mouth ached for want of blood. In this cold wasteland, food was scarce, and my hunger grew. The guards at the gate offered no resistance. They were frozen solid, and dead as they stood, their flesh welded to the cold metal of their armor.
I'll have to take a look through some of the little bits and bobs that are on sale and see what I can squeeze out to get my hands on. Okay, 2 hallways. Nope, that's not a doorway. So we got 2 switches here, both leading into the same way. Try this one first. Ouch! I wish so many of the locations didn't have those goddamn floor spikes. I hate putting those into locations. It's an absolute nightmare placing all them spikes. What just pain in the assius? Ooh, this is a big room. Just noticed a lot of those little models on top of the beams there look like looks like the Nemesis models and that little shield that never made it into the game. So that, in a way, it kind of proves that they actually did have a some sort of model of the shield made. They were able to use it then for these little statue models. I've got to remember to ask Dennis during the stream what kind of abilities he had in mind for the shield.
A corpse held court on a tattered throne, grinning malignantly at me through blackened teeth.
It is not often that a man sees his own corpse. It is a sobering experience. but I am far less interested in my own
I remember in one of the
cause
streams
than
that
I am in yours.
Dennis Diag mentioned something about
Prepare
there being
yourself,
the two bodies of Malik, where we had like, you know, the down in Avernus you had like the skeleton remains, and then suddenly there's a corpse here as well on a throne. Did we ever find out who this who actually this corpse was? I'm sure someone has been deep into some little hidden lore somewhere and found a reason for it. Use a couple of those to have full health when I fight this bugger. I always loved the idea too. Apparently, I always read a wee fan fiction. I always had the idea of like there being a wee hidden doorway behind this throne that would lead to even more very interesting little secrets about the location of Malik's bastion.
Save Victor! 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 Save Victor!
Yeah, some of these boss fights will definitely need some sort of some sort of upgrading, more than just to stand there and mash a button and watch him fall and get back up again. Kind of like the like the later bosses in some of the other games now would have like agendas and things you needed to do before they could be beaten and stuff, and all. Just
keeps me from employing
it adds a bit more depth and
Yet rest assured,
intrigue
they
into
do
actual
little
fights
to
instead of
hamper
just
my relish for slaughter.
standing there and mashing the button to
Even the
bring their
gentle
health down.
snowfall is lethal to a vampire's well-being.
Not that I want to take away all the hack and slash elements, but just tweak them up a bit and improve on the shit.
'Twould seem Malik's destiny with my blade was postponed. Perhaps Ariel could offer further guidance.
So yeah, actually, I actually have the Wii system to have 3 abilities equipped. And to have 3 abilities equipped, but I haven't had one for a weapon system yet. I was thinking maybe I should add something for a little maybe like a main weapon and a sub weapon. Because switching between mace and axe and sword.
High upon the face of these cliffs,
At least in the original game it was a pain because of all the long loading times, but that's one thing I'm trying to get rid of, is lots of the loading time, so hopefully I'll be able to avoid all that altogether.
The winds and seek out this oracle from the vantage point.
I've kind of worked around that by having like a wee I've put the like the weapons and armor into a separate panel of the inventory system, so they're quicker to get at, and so you don't have to go through all the artifacts and stuff.
Oh, little vampire, the game grows interesting. But with so many pawns, can you find the true player?
Iron sword.
I love the wee jump system that the guys at the Omnicide team had added to the wolf in one of the later patches before they quit. Where it had like a little super jump ability to it. Thanks for following, Fabio. Three hits. I'll remember that. Okay, why are you not letting me feed? That was weird. Sustenance.
The human mind is a fragile thing. One minor shock properly timed can render them catatonic and ripe for feeding.
Areas like this here is where the first person mode will come into effect for projectiles. Because obviously if you got an enemy up here on a platform, you can't just shoot straight ahead. You'll hit the wall, so they have to have a little sort of an aiming system in the remake. Just because third person from isometric, a few things need to be changed there, and that's one of the things is a wee first person mode then just for firing the projectiles. Because these ones here always worked by just shooting straight ahead, no matter how high or low they were on the actual map itself. And that just won't do at all. Let's see if I can get this. I love making them shoot themselves. Come on, a little more. What a shame, we'll let them. I love how those blood just absolutely gushes out of those guys when they fall.
Save Victor!
Ooh, the collision is a little tweaky.
Save Victor!
There we go. Hey, Andrew. Oh my word, that collision. Thankfully, I did manage to get a system that heavily improves on collision for this kind of thing. So the collision for my enemies will be per bone accurate. Come here, you.
Ve Victus! Ve Victus!
Okay, down this way. It's on the it's on the upper part. Was there supposed to be a blood fountain somewhere in this mountain? Or am I thinking of a different location? Looks like the way we came in.
The blood of
Ah,
ages
there was,
flows
yes.
so sweet. Come, drink from us. The snow will do you no harm, for our blood preserves.
About damn time. It's downright embarrassing to be damaged by snow. This was my least favorite part of the game. All these caves to lead up to the Oracle. Of all the locations, this was my least favorite. I just know this entire location is going to be a nightmare to build. Cave walls, stalactites. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare.
Ve Victus! Ve Victus! Ve Victus!
Switches, where's the switches? Just give me that, don't need that for magic.
Ve Victus!
Gonna have to get some very interesting materials for
Ve
these
Victus!
giant crystals too.
Ve Victus!
There's the switch on the wall there. The heart of darkness.
Be Victus! Be Victus!
Yeah, parts like this it'll be where it'll be good to have my system of 2 abilities able to be used, or even 3 if you want. I wonder if I should make it optional, where you can actually choose how many of the abilities you want to have, 1, 2, or 3.
Be Victus!
Get away, you monkey man. Or whatever the hell you're supposed to be. So for some reason, a lot of the equations have some very weird creatures, and it doesn't really explain why. Where do these goddamn things come from?
Be Victus! Be Victus! Be Victus! Be Victus! Be Victus! Be Victus!
Okay, stop it every time. I'll have to lower the percentage rating of the Victuses. As iconic as it is, it's just a little jarring every time you swing the damn weapon. Let's switch already. I must have. Oh, it's to the north. Oops. Stop shooting me.
Be Victus! Be Victus!
I definitely highly recommend this the patch for this game if no one's used it.
Be Victus!
Makes things a lot better. As you see, they've cleared up a lot of the textures and the writing.
Be Victus!
The loading times, even in this, thanks to the patch, is significantly shorter. You see, there's your inventory, and then it's off again. Even with the little patch, they've done significant work in just speeding things along. Okay, that little switch there. One of these doors, I just can't remember which one.
Be Victus!
This one to the south.
Ve Victus!
Oh, I hated these caves. Ooh, almost made that, didn't it? It was close.
Ve Victus!
Hey, Mike.
Ve Victus!
Blood. Give me the blood.
Ve Victus!
Ooh, what the hell? For that, explode. Well, implode, technically, but
Ve Victus!
either way you leave a very messy puddle.
Ve Victus!
Okay, now we go down again. That's a freaky looking creature. Would the Time Guardian like to explain these creatures in his cave?
Victus!
Just curious.
Ve Victus! Ve Victus! Ve Victus!
Oh. Never thought you'd actually get sick of hearing Ve Bloody Victus.
Ve Victus!
Shut up! It actually took a long time before I ever actually noticed that there was a bloody rifle sitting on the floor. And it was a lot. It was I think I actually only ever saw it through like a wee image online, and someone mentioned it was like, is that a freaking rifle sitting on the floor?
A guillotine, its blade still wet with blood.
I think that was supposed to be the guillotine that was used for Vorador as well, wasn't it? That he just like went forward and then back in time type of thing.
Hidden amidst the many obscure artifacts in that museum, I discovered an ancient chronicle. This passage caught my eye. It was during these dark times, infested with the plague of the undead, that the Circle brought the Seraphan to existence. Trained to be devoutly loyal to the Circle and the perfect exterminators of the undead scourge, they were led to many victories by the righteous Paladin, Malek, protector of the Pillar of Conflict.
It's amazing just how much of the actual story and the entire game is in this room alone, with the whole
there is no wrath
guillotine, Last Hope armor,
I'd read enough. At once,
the little flag of the
disgusted and
Seraphan,
intrigued,
just all
I
the
placed the
little
book back down in that museum.
interesting little tweaks and things in here.
Odd. This armor resembled that of the Ward and his minions, yet the steel seemed newly fashioned and untarnished by time. I recognized this crest from my youth. 'Tis the sigil of the mighty lion of Willendorf, blood-stained and rusted upon this
I
battered
wonder what
shield.
was behind that That picture in the mirror.
The shield was newly crafted. Its metal shone brightly in the firelight. The crest I did not recognize.
I can't say it looks familiar of anything. If only the resolution was better, you could probably see what the actual crest was supposed to be. A nobleman seeking wisdom.
A nobleman? Seeking wisdom? Death has taught you well.
Enough philosophy. I seek answers.
Answers indeed. I have them all if you have the question.
Ooh,
And what
freeze.
are the
Oh, there we go.
questions for these answers? King Atmar, the only hope to defeat the legions of the
The
Nemesis.
laugh I could deal with, but the constant Fey Victus with the
King
mace use is a
Atmar,
little
paralyzed by his
it can get a bit
princess's
grating.
remains.
Every time you
King
want to break a pillar,
Atmar,
it's
the
Fey Victus,
useless.
Fey Victus.
Pray, good sir.
You're breaking stone.
What
You're
are
not
the
beating
questions?
enemies, Kain.
A pox upon your tricks and babble, old man.
Ooh, it's a bit out of sync
Answer
here
me
because of
this.
that little
Who is
freeze.
Malik, and how can I defeat him?
All in time, Sirrah. Yes, time. Unless you master it, it will master you. And now it's time for your answer.
That little freeze frame seems to have brought the animation
Defender
out of
of the
sync.
Nine, and last
Tisk,
of the
tisk,
Seraphim
tisk.
sorcerer priests. His vanity led to the slaughter of the
I love that scene of the
Circle
fight
at the
between
hands
Vorador
of
and
the
Malik. It was just
vampire Vorador.
badass.
For his failing, his spirit was fused
one of the things
to
I
a set of magical
I still want to
He
do
has
as well.
allowed
But
no
Square
member
Enix
of the
would allow to make like a spin-off game of Vorador.
What of this Vorador?
Follow the glow of the ignis
And just
fatuus
in
to
some
the
period in a
termagant
timeline,
forest.
just have a little
Ignis
spin-off
fatuus.
of Vorador and
The
have him go on a
ignis
little
fatuus lights
quest,
the
maybe learn a
path
few
to
new
hell,
abilities and things. Because Vorador was such a badass character.
Time came.
Cool as fucking, just such a warrior that you really just it needs a bit more depth and detail for him. Thankfully, a lot of this room I could make up from the Soul Reaver 2 areas. Just get the models and upscale them a bit and fix the textures, and this whole room could be made up quite quickly.
Through this magic, I can stop my enemies in their tracks. Frozen in time, they can do nothing to hinder their own doom. Sometimes I draw out their fate, for the added fear sweetens their blood.
Did anyone ever really use that spell much? I don't think I ever actually really used it all that much. There was much more just quicker ways to kill people. I never really used that one just to stop them in their tracks type of thing.
Ve Victus! Ve Victus!
See, you can't hit through stone, but I can.
Ve Victus!
Oh, a little food when you come outside the cave is always handy. Oh, switching of the axe and back. Once I get the axes, I doubt I'll really keep that. I'll keep that weird little spinning attack. It's just combat-wise, it's not really very effective. Very true. Very true. Flay is it's one of the classics. Although I think Implode itself was always my my actual favorite of I think pretty much all the projectiles. It's just so entertaining.
The Black Forest reigned here.
That's a
its
cool
kingdom
image.
rarely invaded by those that live in the light. But it was called home by this mysterious Vorador. Legend told of a time when Vorador defeated Malek of the Seraphan. If such a man did exist, then he could perhaps be the key to defeating the Ward.
I remember the first time I ever played this, and I used to I actually would use the bot form from a lot of these pinnacles, and actually missed out on the mist form and the flame sword and just the control mine, just all the stuff that was in between, just because I went straight to Vorador's mansion. Then later you'd kick yourself when you realise just how much you actually missed. Which for this game, you miss a lot if you always go right to the
Iron
location.
Sword. When in mist form, I am invulnerable to physical weapons, blade and claw. I can seep through locked doors and cracks and move swiftly like a shadow fleeing light.
I don't know what the hell them things were supposed to be. It just looked like burning logs, but for some reason they draw Kain to them. Energy, energy. Avoid the energy. Give me those. The shadows attack me in this form, but it just came over. This one doesn't, because I'm still on the bone armor too. Sneaky. That's a nice little detail. Come here, you my snackable friends. Could have been. Come on, let me off there. Get off, get off, get off. Come in nice and give me one. Help me, kind sir. Ghosts. Why not? That's just spooktacular. Very true. It would definitely add to the. It was one of the other things about this game that made it so brilliant. It was just that they. Oh, look, me birdie. It's just this little. All even the vocabulary they use now. They don't talk down in this game at all. everything was just dark and brooded and gothic, and it was definitely not a not a kiddies game, although pretty much probably mostly kids played it at the time. But then look where we all ended up 20 odd years later. We're still huge fans. This was one that led to the little hidden city. I wonder what the notion was for this little hidden city. What was their actual inhabitants of this place? Because it didn't really have the feel of either the vampires or the Hilden. A third race, perhaps, could be interesting. Next time I have a full moon, I'll come back here.
They Victus!
Do that cave gave you the blood fountain, if I remember. Toying with a notion too. I wonder if I should give Kain for the remake. I wonder if I should give him like a battle stance.
The blood of ages flows so
Like where he has in
Come, drink from us.
Blood and Omen 2, where you have like your regular movements now and you hold down
For our
sure.
blood enhances.
Oh look, there's a full moon. Let's go back to the city. Didn't even know we were coming right up to a full moon. Oh, nice and handy. But yeah, like I was saying, maybe add a like a little battle stance for Kain. Also gives the option for having more button options as well, where hold down the same button can do the same thing without when you're not holding down the shoulder button for the battle stance or not. Okay, let's see if we can get into the lost city. There we go. Such a badass location. Definitely, it's definitely not a location that really smacks of either Hilden or Vampire, though. I definitely do have a sneaky suspicion it might have been for a for another race. Okay, now it's not gonna let me use that one. No fair. Perhaps the third race could have been werewolves. Oh, I can't really see the werewolves worshipping all these snake icons. Yeah, two of the buggers. Pop. Can I jump up there and wolf them and grab those too? No. Didn't even know how to get those? Oh wow! I think I've been in a lot of these locations very much. Ooh, speedy, speedy! Oh, what was that? What was that? Is that a door? I think that might be a door. Oh, there's another switch. Maybe two switches to open the door. There we go. Ooh, this is cool. Show me the goodies! The monks again.
Save Victor!
What a handy time to have gotten in here. Most of the times I'd get the worst timing of full moons and not get in here until like near the end of the game where I wouldn't even bother. You're like, figured I'm near finished the game anyway, why bother going in here? Excuse me. Three of them to kill the wolves. Oh wow. See, this was definitely a location that needed to be revisited in later games with more explanation. Like, what the hell is this place? Oh, the goodies! Give me the goodies! Give me the goodies! Okay, there's another one we can get into. Oh, what the? Oh, didn't expect that. That way? Yes, I can. Good. Go into this building first. And Probably can't get in here yet. Don't have any control mind spell yet. Don't rat. Holy hell, it's one of those things. The hell is he doing here? Ooh, that guy didn't he didn't fare too well with him. Holy hell. Took like 24 hits to kill one of those things with those. Even though energy volt was so damn weak. Just 2 implodes and then zap. This is quite a damn location. Lots and lots of goodies. Not to mention snacks. Why none of them are suddenly not giving any to help me, Kain, sir. Great. Ghost demons. Okay, now we can go back to the teleport. Oh, sugar, I forgot about that building. Oh, it was the one that came in. Huh. I'm such a klutz. Newbie! Oh, can't get in that one. Sit, doggy. I do like the idea of there maybe being a 3rd race of werewolves. Oh, that's a homing projectile.
Save Victor!
Can't get up there either. Basically, that's all we can do here now until I get the control mind spell to get into that other building with the monk. Could be in wolf. No, they would still attack us. I was thinking there maybe if you stayed in wolf form, maybe they wouldn't try and take a nibble out of my ass. Oh, they should have had a slightly different wolf model for this location. It does seem really sensible to have a slightly different type of werewolf form, different from Kain's. It's something I can fix. Okay, where is the is that building down there, I believe. Deputy control mind, and oh, I'll take that. Blood. Dappy little fuckers. More of those damn bandits.
This spell allows me to use blood from my own body as a weapon. When struck, my enemy's blood would flow from their bodies to fill me with life. 'Tis a risk. Yet the
Rewards are a temptation.
rewards are a temptation.
Downright delicious. Oh, I hear the solemn dirge. I love that tune. The solemn dirge was my favorite. Was always my favorite. Favorite music of the game. Grief. Nibble on another heart. Okay, now here's the mind control. Oh, leave that till we need it.
This spell allows me to enslave my enemies, giving me control of their bodies. When I release my grip, their bodies will shrivel and die as I displace their souls and replace them with my own.
This will be an interesting one to have to remake. I think there is abilities for switching switching control from one character to another, and then maybe wrapping Kain in a shield while I do it, so it is doable. Could be some twitches and tweaks to it, but definitely doable. Rat, one more hit. If I can just get to the pile without him hitting me. Ooh, gotcha. Oh yeah, I forgot there was come out, back in. I have to remember there is some locations indoors where enemies don't become spooks. Don't mind me, folks, just leaving. Ah, yes, the Spirit Forge.
Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours.
Don't really use the answer ones that often, so I won't bother too much with this. Just go get the main personal weapon of choice. This weapon could be very interesting in the remake. Even in this where you can just set the little grass on fire, that could be handy. Maybe I could think of some other uses for it as well. Okay, so the 2 green will open those 2 things on the side. Okay, now we leave the greens on. Turn off all the reds.
The sword ravages flesh with teeth of metal and flame, leaving only scorched remains.
Okay. Let's burn this place to the goddamn ground. I just love that you can just set the grass on fire. And even by itself, it spreads around to some of the other ones. Tiny little details like that, even for the PS1 era, was exceptionally fun.
They Victus! They Victus! They Victus!
I think that's all the main goodies from the swamp. Whoa, what am I doing? Vulnerability. Why does it keep going to that and not my mist form? Look at that. Okay, we're close enough from here. We can just we'll fly over to the mansion. Hey, Roberta. Hey, Victus, indeed. You would have been saying that a couple minutes ago when we were hearing it every 5 minutes using the mace. Hey, Victus, hey, Victus, hey, Victus. Driving your pet coon crazy. This is the location I am most looking forward to making. I still think that I might just add a little courtyard to the mansion, like in Soul River 2. Might even just take the courtyard from Soul River 2 and upscale it a bit, and then add the mansion to it afterwards. Of course, I'll try and have this big rug with the image of order on it. It's just perfectly vague. But also have the wee statue then that was in the was it Defiance or 2, where he had the big statue of himself in the hallway too.
The luxury with which this Vorador surrounded himself was impressive. His wealth would shame the haughty nobles of my former court.
I'll save in 2 locations because this is also a another location I want to come back to for referencing.
That this vulgar display of fortune remained undisturbed was a testament of fear's dominion over greed.
Bay Victus! Bay Victus!
Their charms were almost visible through the gauze of their clothing, yet beauty such as theirs delivered only death. For these were Vorador's pets, nothing more than beasts.
What a polite way of saying they were almost naked.
And the easy prey he provided. Vampires, all of
Their
them,
charms
held
were
in
almost
thrall
visible.
by one stronger
that is just so. It's like British polite.
Bay Victus!
Can't catch smoke, guys. So you're SOL and JWF. Shit, I'm looking jolly well fucked. Get away, Pooch. Let's
Antitoxin.
change up some of these spells, I think.
Energy bolt.
Energy bolt will keep just for switches.
Repel.
Obviously. Inspire hate, no.
Incapacitate. Stun.
No.
Blood gout.
We'll take that one for now.
control mind.
That's about the 4 we should mainly need around this location, I think. Yeah, it's a banquet room.
Borodor's pantry. A vampire's feast. Like cattle awaiting slaughter,
Let
men
me
and
get multiple
women
ones at
dangled
once.
from the rusted hooks upon the dungeon walls. Blood and viscera frosted the dirt and stone. The abundance nearly overwhelmed me. For blood is the life.
Damn it, stand still. I hate these little teleporters. It's even more annoying too in 60 frames. There. You little pain in the ass. Switch. And now I get my own personal favorite armor in the game. Just look at that image. That is some badass fucking armor.
Extracts from them a heavy price for their bloodlust. The blows are meant for me, but it is their bodies that... Flame sword, chaos armor.
That is a cool armor. Although I do still like the concept art our artist made for the remake version. Tweaked up just a bit. Oh, lovely. And test your luck. Ah, interesting. Tarots don't work on the shadows. Very interesting. Don't think I've ever actually tried that before on them. Smack the shadow. Don't think that. Did that thing ever open the door up there? Yes, it does. Yikes! Come on.
to bathe in the blood of others. This spell is especially useful in the face of multiple combatants. Beware those with tainted blood.
Downright delicious. A multi-feed feast. Now this is a room that just adds a whole new level of Orador.
And upon the wall,
He was
scribbled
brutal.
in blood, were the words, Manus Celer die. The room I had entered had but one purpose: the torture and execution of human beings for the sadistic pleasure of its engineer. Blood was splattered on every surface, coating the spikes that jutted from the walls and filming the stone floor. The dread and agony of victims past still echoed through the lethal walls. A symphony of terror and agony filled the air. Then, from amidst the cacophony of screaming souls came the perverse laughter of the vampire himself.
He really built that up to crescendo, didn't he?
Victus!
Didn't open that door.
Amongst Vorador's possessions, I found an ancient chronicle. Long ago, vampires grew in such number so as to capture the attention of the Circle. The Order of the Sarafan, or the Angels of Light as they were called, was instated to counter the menace.
Angels
Thus,
of Light.
the vampire purge began.
Obsess match. Oh, sugar. It's the wrong button. My bad. These kind of paint, this is what the one thing that's really going to be a pain in the ass for Vorador's location is all these paintings. I have no idea where I'm going to find these kind of like canvas style of gothic and gory paintings to fill the walls of his mansion with.
The tapestries wove a tale of chaos ignited, an orgy of fire and pain. Undead beings with rotted skins caked with sulfur and ash beckoned at me through a burning abyss. Their tortured stares were a testimonial to the price of weakness. Their fate would not find me. Yet blood calls to blood.
Very interesting designed house, Vorador.
Victus!
Now, also one of my favorite cutscenes in the game as well. This room I cannot wait to make.
bowels of that black forest, I found something worse than hell. A vision of what I was becoming.
It's not often I see one of our own, especially one as young and foolish as yourself. Nonetheless, drink. Drink deep and indulge your gift.
Gift? Vorador thought my curse a blessing. That we were gods. That mortals offered their blood as sacrifice so that we could enjoy our supernatural powers. And somewhere, deep inside my new self, I knew that he was right.
What I found interesting is just how
Prayers to us.
how little of
I pondered this as the
how little that Vorador actually evolved.
About his past.
Strong as hell, no doubt, to be able to beat Malik and the other Circle of Nine before Kain did, but
account of how he defeated Malek of the
still, he was
and took his vengeance.
his evolution seemed to be very, very limited.
Sarafan holy war to exterminate us.
I mean, by this time, even in the time, he was what, at least a few thousand years old. If he was one of the first. So he would have been at least 2,000 or 3,000 years old, I think, at this point. Which line in Soul Reaver 2, Grim?
Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses!
Oh, you mean the oh yeah, the Call Your Dogs. Yeah. it was a nice little throwback as well. And also highly interesting then to find out that the only reason that Malik was late was actually because of Mobius. It was a very nice little tie-in, I always thought. It added very well into what into the whole situation of what just Vorador going into just blind rage and just murdering the rest of the circle, although Raziel was running around then killing the other Sarafan knights that would become his brethren.
After slaughtering 6 of the sheep,
It was just that, just perfectly tied in everything. It was just so bloody perfect.
Is not bothered with the cattle, except to feed. And I suggest you do the same. Meddling.
Even as Mobius is talking here in the background, call your dogs.
Sarafan witch hunts are much too tedious to concern ourselves with. Am I understood, Kain? Good. Take this ring. If you ever need assistance, it will summon you. Despite your youthful arrogance, you amuse me.
Really bugs me when people say this game hasn't aged well. I agree. I think it's aged very well. It's at 20 plus years old now. I still think it's the one thing it didn't age well was the loading times, but this patch pretty much helps solve a lot of them. As you can see, it just inventory screens, all the abilities and such have been a lot quicker and sped up to match the current computers. So with the most
resolve, his power uncontested
with the wee fan-made patch that it was given,
another enemy.
It can basically match it pretty much any
Decadence has claimed
wee old
itself
style
many
game now.
a great warrior.
I think it this game aged very, very well. Still though, it'd still be nice to see them all get full proper remakes. And god damn it, if Square Enix won't do it, then I bloody will. The transformation itself was very, very, very easy. I basically just hide away the Kain model and replace it with the werewolf model. I haven't made like a wee transition animation yet. I'm still deciding whether to have like a might have like a wee puff of smoke and all, or some like flashy particle effect and all to kind of mask it as they're transforming. There's a few little workarounds for things like that. I'll work out some sort of way of having it a bit easier to do. Hopefully one of the team can make up a couple of nice little animations to kind of fit in well with the whole transition. Maybe have Kain like now when he's about to go into the wolf form, maybe like don't crouch down low, kind of like the way the wolf does, knowing his like his back arches. You see Kain kind of does it there. He kind of like goes into a crouch position and all, and then comes back out of it. You can have like a wee animation like that there, and then like a wee particle effect and all of some sort of wee a rune or a flash of smoke or light or something that'll mask then the switching of the models. The mist form. I think the mist form, I'll basically have it kind of like it is now, where he is just in the like a wee humanoid form, but just basically just comprised of mist, and just like walk through things normally, where obviously you just can't attack anything or basically interact with anything when you're in mist form, except just walk about and get through all the wee doors and secret passages and cracks and things. But the mist will be basically just similar or basically the same as it is here. I was tempted with the idea of having him do as like a wee dodge ability, you know, like he does in Defiance, where he goes to the mist swarm to kind of dodge away and things like. But then I decided against that then because I thought it was a bit too he's a bit too advanced and strong for Kain at that point. He was still very much a fledgling, so he needed time to evolve a lot of those abilities and powers to get that strong. Sugar.
And so I left that place, with clear knowledge of what sort of monster I would become if I let my curse consume me, and with an ally for the future.
Ooh, just think of the team that Mordor and Kain could have made. Maybe they just could have wiped out basically just the whole Sarafan strongholds together.
The axes, flame sword.
A triad congregates at the roof of the world, Kain. A plot to twist
I didn't even think of Dark Eden. That whole bloody like whirling dome
North
thing is going to be
where your vengeance lies.
it's going to be a pain in the ass to make up. suppose I could have like a giant fishbowl. Which ability do you think will be the hardest to do? Let's see, we'll go take a look at some of them here.
Control mind. Sanctuary. Stun.
The two I think that are probably going to be the most they're probably going to give me the most complications.
Vorador's signet ring.
Of the spells would likely
Control
be
mind.
Inspire Hate.
Inspire hate.
It's going to be a bit tweaky up on that nod of how to implement that properly. Might have to have like extend their interaction areas and all for that to make them start seeing the other AI then as enemies. So it's going to be an interesting one to kind of work around. And the other one, is, of course, is and still is this bloody sanctuary spell. It is an absolute nightmare to get working right. Because not only then do you have to keep, you have to code it where not only are you, say if you're coming back from like another location, you have to reload the original level to be as it was when you originally left it. But you also have to make sure then that everything you still have stays like it was, so you're not losing items that you've already collected in the game. Then that all your abilities you have and all the doors stay open, and it's an absolute nightmare to get that one. So you're basically doing like mini save each time you use the sanctuary spell to kind of like save certain parts of information by leaving out other parts of information just to make sure that it all flows steadily enough. So Sanctuary and Inspire Hate are probably about two of the most awkward of the spells to get through.
Vorador's signet ring. The Heart of Darkness.
The Heart of Darkness I've basically already got. Just have to add a wee bit more of a flashy animation to that and make it a bit aesthetically more pleasing, like, but it's easy enough to do. Flay. It's going to be interesting one because I can basically just kind of take like the enemy's model and with the big spurt of like particle blood, just like an explosion of particle blood. We'll replace the enemy model then with like a wee like a skeleton model that will then just collapse in on itself type of thing, like a bloodied up skeleton that will then just collapse to the floor, and then the big particle splash of blood implode. Will also be the same thing. You just kind of like you make the mesh disappear and all, and then you have like the big particle effect of an expanding mass of flesh and all just expand and then implode, and then shrink and then just explode out with have then a wee explosion of a few bloody bones and stuff and all as well. A few wee bones and organs will explode out just as the blood particle effect will happen. At least that's the way I kind of have it in my head for that. Like it's it'll be an interesting way.
Slow time.
This one, slow time, I thought it was going to be an absolute pain in the ass to work with, but literally just today, in fact, the Unreal Engine, they usually release like free content each month, and for March they've just released another a wee thing that has like some time manipulation abilities, for like reversing times, slowing down time, a wee bit of teleportation and stuff and all, like. So some of them wee abilities I can look at them as a kind of reference for slowing down time for this and make it a wee bit more. I want to bring down the area so it doesn't like affect the whole map area, because I don't think Kain would really be strong enough to really slow down the time and just in the entire map. So kind of like a more regional area, just somewhere around him, where the closer they get to him, that's when they start slowing down type of, while he speeds up. So that's kind of what I have in mind for that.
Font of putrescence. Font of
that one,
putrescence.
The font. It's basically going to be like Flay as well. You just kind of take the mesh model. Basically, you make it invisible, and then you add like a wee mesh puddle on the floor with some wee particle effects around it and all, and the wee a wee emissive material that'll have it glow, and then just when the enemies get close to that, then it'll cause them to just explode as well into the wee greenish goo as well. Oh, so I don't mind the questions at all. In fact, I'm doing a stream with Dennis Dyack when the Dead House Sonata team in about 2 weeks on the 13th, where hopefully people will be asking even more questions then. So I don't mind answering the questions at all. Any interest is good interest.
Energy bank.
Energy bank.
Energy bank.
It's basically going to be pretty easy to do. For a long time, I was even thinking of just taking energy bank out because I rarely used it, like. But I suppose it does have a use once you get Soul Reaper and all, and you have like a wee unlimited magic for a while. So I will actually probably just keep the energy bank in. And you're obviously just onto tokens, Pentalish. It's just basically like I'll have like a wee random integer of the certain abilities of the other things that happen around. It may cause a few issues with the actual coding of it now, but it shouldn't be anything too impossible to really work around for that.
Turning the ring over in my hands, I realized that it was crafted from some strange alloy formed.
I've also been some of us have even we had one of our artists like making up ideas of what Kain's form would be for, like, how in Beguile here you have like the wee peasant looking appearance and such and all, or kind of having a like in Beguile where he has like just like the wee spinning opera mask. I wanted something a bit better, whereas we're thinking of maybe like restoring Kain to his human form, have him actually look like he would have been at the very start, in the epilogue, human Kain and all, whereas for like his noble appearance for Beguile, and then obviously then if you attack someone, then you just revert into your he reverts back into the vampire form. It's a notion that we're kind of tweaking with. Get down here. Another thing I do kind of want that I find interesting is I want to have a wee some sort of like notoriety system or an intimidation system, or just something that really has like the people and the villagers interact differently depending on how you kind of behave. Obviously, once you start coming through the once you start walking in the buildings, transforming into a wolf and attacking people, they're not just going to keep walking, like back and forward in a set movement. They'll either, some will try to attack you, some will try to run away, maybe some will try and call guards or something, just some kind of wee different interaction to make it a wee bit more, a wee bit more like just making you feel like you're in, all your actions would have a consequence. When it comes to shooting projectiles. Yes, I've got a very early stages kind of like first person mode for him. So you'll have like a wee icon in the middle of the screen. I haven't decided what the icon will even look like yet, but for now it's just like a wee basic dot where he'll go into first person mode for firing projectiles to reach up at people on like higher platforms. So if an enemy's up on a higher platform, you just switch into the first person mode. Generally, there's also like a way where you can do it, just kind of like the way the camera is facing, but it's a lot less accurate. For real proper accuracy, you can switch into the first person mode then and just move the icon end over to whoever you want to shoot, and the projectile will shoot right to them. over the shoulder. You mean for like for like the projectiles Brazil used to fire when it was like just behind over the shoulder type of thing? Suppose I could do it like that as well instead of the first person. Originally, that was kind of what I did have in mind, was kind of over a tighter over the shoulder and all to match with the original camera. But a lot of people said it would have been interesting in a wee first person kind of camera view as well. So I kind of tweaked that in.
Here in this quaint pastoral village,
I suppose I could maybe even have it like a wee, like an option in an options menu where you could have like the option to really either have like over the shoulder for projectiles or even first person mode. Could look into ways of maybe adding that into the options menu itself, of where the player can actually decide whether they want the first person mode or just the tight over the shoulder like Soul Reaver 2 or Raziel. Some of the barrels got 3 items too. I'll have to remember that for coding. It's actually during some a lot of playthroughs that I remembered that some of the bloody, I think that was a full moon door, wasn't it? Obviously as well, I want to have it where some of the towns and locations would obviously have to be a wee bit bigger. Maybe a few more buildings, to go into, interact with, and we find a few new things. Just such a small amount of things as all these wee towns, like with only like 3 or 4 buildings where you can actually get into, is a little small. Obviously, they were working on their limitations of the PS1 for how many places you could actually go into, but we could actually have a lot more these days now. More buildings, a few more hidden locations, secret paths, all that kind of thing. Now, why the hell have these people got a goddamn demon in their back room? That's hardly kosher. Sweet dreams, and I'll have a snack. There's a little door in a wee system as well of at night time having people in the bed sleeping and all that you can just walk up to and feed from. Maybe have a more Dracula-esque style of feeding where you just like crouch over the body type of thing, as opposed to like the wee telekinetic sucking.
Flame sword.
We're going into Dark Eden soon, so I'll need my flame sword for some of those freaky creatures.
The poor wretch was
technically, even
recognition.
myself now, when I originally started like 3 years ago, I literally hadn't
Such strange
I'd never done a thing in terms of like any kind of game design whatsoever. So it was basically learning everything as I went along. Probably one of the reasons why it took so long as well, even though it was like a solo project and all. That also slowed it down, but also another reason that it was slowed down so much was just the fact that it was learning everything just as I went along.
Flows so sweet. Come, drink from us. Your magic energy recovers more quickly, for our blood enhances.
There I can keep the axes equipped. Well, they are Cerberuses. One of our artists actually made up a couple of wee concept designs for them wee Cerberus dogs last week. Just wee quick sketches, like nothing definitive yet and all that, but it was definitely interesting. Was there an enemy over there? Yes, there was. Burn him. But any and all help is always appreciated. There's links even to my YouTubes and the Twitch channels and all. All the likes and follows of those can also increase the numbers that would help impress Square Enix. There's also donation links for anyone who feels the inclination. So there's a few ways to support the project. At least the ways that Square Enix will allow me to get. They've kept me under quite a few little restrictions. Understandable, I suppose. Like, no, I suppose they didn't really want to take the risk of Patreons and Kickstarters and stuff now for basically what was essentially a solo project that just might not have ever even been finished. Of course, they just don't know the fact of come hell or high water, I plan to finish. And once I finish, maybe I'll get lucky and they will end up leasing me the license so I can work on some of the other ones, maybe a couple of sequels, spin-offs and things.
If it could be said that a land descended into madness, 'twould be an accurate account of Dark Eden. A garden of horrors, seeded with thick perversion of nature's design.
Come on, the inventory screen, load up.
Flame sword.
Worried for a second there, the thing bugged out on me.
Flame sword.
That wouldn't have been good at all. Better tweak up my items here.
Vorador's signet ring.
Put that up there, because I'll probably need the antidotes a couple more times. Multicolor, green at the bottom, red at the top. Oh, no, we can't get in there yet. That was one of the moon gates, wasn't it? Like the full moon gates? You're sure it was. Can't get into it yet anyway, because I'm not even strong enough to push that boulder yet.
Hey, Victor!
We might even try and make up a few new little creature designs for Dark Eden. Because it's a very interesting place.
Magic seethed and shifted. I watched the dome of energy as it expanded, absorbing and recreating.
It wasn't the fact that I hate using the axes and all. I'd keep them equipped, but I literally do not like having the axes. Who knows? Maybe once I get the once I get to the axes and their animations, I can do something to make them a little more enjoyable to actually use. That whole spinning nonsense is pretty looking, but it is not a good effective combat maneuver.
I passed through the wall unharmed. It seemed the magic only preyed on things that were alive and pure. Or perhaps it simply decided that I was twisted enough. The axes.
Oh, Kain, we're all twisted here.
Iron sword.
Yes, a few more flames. Give me those. I'll go back to the flame sword because a lot of the creatures in this area are not really safe to feed on anyway. I'll use another tactic and let the humans just attack me, and then they'll injure themselves, and then I just feed on them. Thank you! Hey, bandit! Yes, the classic original. It's one I keep coming back to it quite frequently since since the remake. I have to keep reminding myself about a lot of locations and mechanics. Obviously, I won't stream every time I replay it. You'll all be sick looking at it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's still small, but I like to think it'll grow in time. Who knows? Maybe in the future, if I can get even the game streaming growing a little bit more after with promotion work, I can technically use Patreon for it. Square Enix can't really complain to me for that, so it's kind of separate.
From its apex spewed the vortex of energy that shaped the lands below.
Now that is going to be that's going to be a nightmare of goddamn design. That is some freaky ass architecture. Even just thinking about the stuff I'll have to make up for that. Weird architecture that's going to be. Out of all the vampire brethren, who's your favorite and why? Same goes for the Circle of Nine. the brethren, let's say my favorite. Obviously, Raziel would have been the first pick for everyone, like, but of the actual brethren after him, I would say probably would have been Rahab. I always like the loyalty of Rahab, and a lot of fanfics I've read all say like, no, he was a very calm demeanor type of guy and all, and was always loyal. And
its disposal, it would have been simple.
he was like the go-to guy after Raziel went for Kain. I think of the brethren, Rahab would have been my favorite. And then for the circle, I think I'd have to say Mortanius for the circle, because although he's technically the last boss of this game and all, we all learn obviously later on to find out that he was actually, everything he was doing was he was trying to undo everything, to know that the circle and, well, basically him and Mobius had started, you know, with the whole war against the vampires and all. So he was basically trying to fix everything that had been, he and Mobius had started.
The sorcerer's sanctuary, his laboratory. Inside
everything he was doing was a way to try and fix what him and Mobius had done, and whereas Mobius just kept with blind zealotry and all, Mobius was more.
I sensed more than one force being manipulated in this.
He was more knowledgeable on what of the things of what was actually being done around him and the consequences of what they were doing, to realize like the pillars did have a purpose, and more than just what the zealotry that Mobius believed. Highly ironic that the Guardian of Death would be the one that wanted to help restore life. I always keep thinking now as I play through more of this game and all over and over that I have to, I really do have to fix up some of the fights with some of the Guardian members. Some are just a bit too easy for what they actually should be. The powerful sorcerers of Nosgoth and all, they shouldn't be all easy with just some like wee simple single combos and all, and just did a couple of hits and they're dead type of thing and all. So a few of the boss mechanics I think need to be tweaked up and added on to maybe add something all that needs to be done, kind of like in the later Legacy games and all, where wee puzzles for like beating some of the bosses. Make the fights a bit more interesting. We can use this thing again here if I remember. Actually, no, wait. That led to the boss area. I think we need to go this way to get the other two abilities. Sneaky little bugger. How about you, Grim? Who was your Who did you prefer in the Brethren and the Circle? I hate that part. Always get trapped in there and then a huge chunk of damage. Metal balls of pain. Flesh armor. It was probably my least favorite armor of all the sets. Was the flesh
blood
armor.
Of noblemen drains the blood from my enemies for me.
One, it
leaving
was
to focus on the slaughter at hand.
It was an extremely unreliable source of armor when you were
flesh armor,
like taking damage from like the black blood or the green bloods and such and all. But also, it's just a butt ugly design. It just looks like a red Power Ranger suit or something. It just there wasn't much to it. Whereas the new design by our artist, I think, is a bit better now. It's got more of like a bone and sinew type of texture to it, and all. We'll have in like the markings of actual muscle underneath and such, and all. To make it a bit more like visceral type and all, with a few like wee runes and things. As opposed to just like a red jumpsuit. I think someone made a comment because the design is just it's basically as bland as you can get, like just a red suit. I have the bone armor yet. Next to the chaos, I think it was probably one of my favorite armor designs as well. The bone armor, but that is you always wear that enemy just because it's always the first one you get after the original iron armor. So basically. I think basically in every game, like the first new armor set you get, everyone's like, "Oh yes, new armor. Let me see what it does, what it looks like. Let me put it on." Because technically the iron armor is supposed to stop fire and stuff like, but I never really noticed it actually doing anything. It's one of the reasons why in my remake and all, I've kind of kept the idea of like I'll keep the iron armor like close to the original design. It's like a wee throwback, you know, nostalgia feel, but all the other armors are getting a more are getting a more little up to date look to kind of to not only like have a more reasonable idea of just how like high medieval armor actually would be, but also like just more sensible for like travel designs and stuff. Laws like Kain was supposed to be like a noble traveling from Copenhagen law, so I doubt you really would have travelled all that distance in the steel underwear. So it'll have more of a lighter feel of the iron armor is like doing like travel armor and all, and then some of the other sets will have more intricate designs. Our artist knowledge may have designs even for the wraith armor to have like we glowing runes and such and all. It's kind of a cross between the original with some like wee glowing runes, but also it has like a wee hooded cloak look to it and all. It's kind of similar to like the Blood of Wind 2 armor set and all, where he has that hooded outfit, except without the leather jacket look. Come on, they're supposed to fire back and hit you. That's cheating. Fine, we'll do it the hard way. Oh yeah, now they shoot back after I use my projectiles, you sods. Now this is an interesting spell too. I suppose I could have like a wee could probably add like a wee particle system to the spell now, where you have like a wee glowing orb and all pop out of the body, kind of like the souls of Soul Reaver 2, just to give like a wee throwback to the Soul Reaver series and all. Just like when you hit them, it'll knock their soul out and all, and then you'll have the wee soul orb floating around. Obviously, Kain can't absorb the souls, like, but it'll be nice to have like the wee just a wee throwback to the Soul Reaver games, like just have the soul and all just floating about for a couple of seconds and then dispersing. Could be entertaining. Save this twice as well, because this is another location I want to come back to.
Not one, but three. Dejul the Energist, Bane the Druid, and Anacroth the Alchemist. How considerate of them to hasten my search.
Considerate indeed.
The circle has arrived.
Fear him not, Bane. He is but a whelp. His soul is ours for the taking.
Don't be ridiculous, Malik. To our aid.
Whose? Damn you, Alchemist.
This was always a slight wee sound fault in my version of the game. I don't know if it's ever the same for everyone else's. But for some reason, Anacroth always says, "Don't be ridiculous, Malik to our aid." Where it's supposed to be, "Don't be ridiculous," then a space of like, then Malik to our aid. But for some reason in mine, he just goes right into the "Don't be ridiculous, Malik to our aid." It's weird. It's a weird wee audio glitch. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, or if it's just on my version when I ripped it. I've never got a chance to read those comics, because most of the ones I see are always in different languages, not like German and French and things. No, so I've never been able to get my hands on the full copies of any English interpretations of them.
As Vorador clashed against Malik, I gave pursuit to the fleeing wizards, Dejul and Bane.
Which project is that?
Dance. When the time came, they would dance upon my sword.
His magic is weak. He is an affront to nature itself. It is our duty to purify him.
Burn, wretched vampire! Burn!
See, this fight here was definitely it needs something more than being just walking around adding puddles to the floor. intimidating for a sorcerer druid to really just be to make puddles on the floor.
The antler headdress had broken in the fight, but power still resided in its ivory form.
Yes, I also think in my remake that Anacross should really be immune to Energy Bolt. I mean, why the hell would Energy Bolt do damage to her when she is?
The cloak was made from an alloy.
She's basically made up of energy.
Heavy and malleable, woven into fine links. The energy she controlled was stored in this garment.
That'd be great. No, I'd love to be able to read them all. I haven't been able to get my hands on it, and all the ones I always find are always foreign languages, and I haven't been able to get my hands on them at all. I think someone got me like a couple of copies of some like official strategy guides and things now, and there was one. There was like a couple of like wee previews now of some of the comics, but none of them were like full ones.
Old adversary to rest.
That's another thing I still haven't even worked on yet. The bloody platform and the world travel on the map. I'm basically just like kind of leaving that until I have basically all the main locations all built up and travel to, and then I can work on the map of adding like the wee highlight mask and doing the wee animation for flying to each areas and stuff like that.
The helmet of Malek I placed before the pillar of conflict.
I think someone in the group had the idea like just making it full, totally like open world and being able to just fly there yourself in like a wee swarm of bots type of thing. But oh, that would be a nightmare to make up.
At the foot of the energy pillar, I set the cloak of Dejul. The pillar accepted.
Not just in the sheer animations and stuff, no, but just like the resources that you'd need, like just to have the landscapes and the materials all flopping around you, and all that kind of speed would be
you must seek
quite taxing on
at the heart of
a console or a PC.
3 instruments await you to aid you in your quest, but first you must rise and you must fall and find your salvation in between.
At least the videos give you like an idea of the 3D view of how the architecture will look. But that orb is going to be an absolute nightmare. The whole vortex thing into the big giant red orb is... oh, it's not going to be fun. Doable definitely, but not fun. the... You see, they have like just a wee copy of it, you know, the soul. Might do something similar. Just have like a wee soul come out of the body and just kind of like disperse around like Soul Reaver 2. Just can't shake the idea of that being just fun. Where's my group blood sucking spell? Why is it on the bloody energy bank and not the... I swear, some of these options are choosing themselves, I think. Okay, this was a twitchy one. You always miss out on just one item. Why is my spell not working? By the time you're able to use the spell to drink their blood, your health's down to where as bad as it was. I think that's the lightning key up there, wasn't it? One with a big huge lightning spell. The whole forward runes. Ooh, blood. Give me that blood. Give me the blood. Give it to me!
Avernus consumed itself before my eyes. There seemed no easy path to gain entry to the hell laid out before me. Perhaps there was a way inside from above the chaos that reigned there.
That's hardly a subtle way of saying maybe I can fly to Avernus. That's basically right up there with that. Gee, what does this button do? I always like the wee subtle thing of this. You can stop them reviving just if you kill them with the flame sword. Just nice little details like that for certain enemies, and I was always interested as well. Come on, revive, you know you want to. Let's go wolfing. Give us a drink. Lady, what the hell are you doing out here? There's ghouls and monsters and dark agents just up the street, and you're out here having a stroll. These people have no idea of personal safety.
Flame sword. The gate of Avernus opened slowly before me, daring me to cross the threshold. Who was I to reject such an invitation?
I mean, who was I? I am Kain, motherfucker. Oh, look at this. The whole town's a banquet. Oh, tasty. Avernus is going to be daunting as all hell to make up. This is not a small town. Not to mention the whole sewer system and the cathedral itself. Oh, this is going to be it's going to need broke up into a two or three maps, I think, for Avernus. Does every village in this town have some psychopath that has prisoners in their back room? These people are not really exactly making a good argument for themselves on their need to be saved. Like half of them are psychotic killers. Kain does it just because he's hungry. I have him do it just because I'm psychotic, but that's beside the point. Oh, look at this little guy. He's put up a hell of a fight. Let him go. Full speed hatchet swings. Swinging me like I owed him money. I didn't show on your mother she was like that when I got there. No witnesses. See what happens when you interrupt my feeding? This is always the thing that always keeps me wondering if should I about the armor's abilities. I haven't actually added any of the abilities to any of the armor yet. I can still keep deciding on whether I should actually add it or not. Because some of the abilities I think just make some of the armors a little too OP. I mean, Chaos Armor when you're basically returning damage, and then when you have repel, it's still active when repel's up. I think I might take that away if you have repel up, the effect of the Chaos Armor won't take effect. Because I think it's a little OP to have a shield up that will basically stop all damage while still damaging the enemies that attack you. It's a little on the
The city was
Far
paved
too
in
OP
blood
side.
and flesh. Yet what would have appalled me in life only tempted me in death. Once I would have felt horror. Now only hunger remained. Avernus lay in ruins before me. Whatever hand slaughtered its people ravaged the city as well. The beast paused for a moment,
Stop shooting me, you
drooling in
bugger.
anticipation of the fine meal he saw before him. To his disappointment, he would not find me such easy prey.
So I was always teasing the idea of maybe having a few little cosmetic extra armors in place of the armor sets of maybe some of the designs of like the Blood Omen 2 or the original Blood Omen, just some sort of little throwbacks. No, not the green blood, not the green blood. That was the wrong button. Idiot. See, this is why this random blood drinking is not safe. I say, McCulloch, can I have a pint? Ouch. Some sea cooks. This is a very well built sewer system. I think it might have to be a little different from the remake. I was thinking maybe something along the lines of like just the roundish tunnel sort of appearance. Plus, I won't lie, it'd be easier to design the rounder tunnels than all these intricate walls and wooden beams and grates and stuff. I'm not above a little cheating and cutting of corners. Going to be adding more enemies. Oh, they're definitely going to add more enemies. The we're working on I'm going to be working soon on a new combat system. It's going to be a bit more of a smooth, fluid combat system. It's probably with a bit more and better combos as well. So it'll make like damaging and fighting things easier. Because I think in the rotten little sword, in the original, you were basically limited to like four little four sword swings, and just they were basically limited by their hardware, which we don't have that limitation anymore. So I can add more enemy types. Maybe they change some of them around. Make the combat a bit more faster and fluid, and maybe like counters and parries and a few wee dodges and all, just something like that. That'd make it a bit more action-packed than just like mashing the button for the same 4-hit combo over and over. One of the places I was thinking of like changing up things around was the like the monks in Upraptor's Retreat. It's the same monks that are in basically in Avernus and the Lost City. they're basically the same monks everywhere. So I'm thinking maybe changing up an Avernus now, where it's not it won't be the monks, but it'll be like them, like the zealots. Remember, it was in was it Defiance? It was Defiance. It was like the masked zealots. Now you saw praising #gig. I'm thinking of maybe having them in the Avernus Cathedral itself instead of just the monks that shoot the wee fireballs out of the book. So I'm gonna add them. At the keep the monks as like wee zealots to what the hell? Oh, I was poisoned. Didn't even notice. All my chatting on this. Didn't even notice that. But yeah, keep the monks in the Raptor's Retreat as like the zealot followers of him under his mind control. Then in the Lost City, maybe have like snake worshippers of some description. All that would be in keeping of the city's design of all the serpents. Blood. I need blood. So yes, I do plan to add a few more enemy designs and opportunities for more bloodshed and violence, which is always fun. Is this the way I came in or not? I can't even remember now. Oh, obviously not there. I wouldn't have that pickup.
Save Victor!
Aha, this is the way. There's a save point. Excellent. I think I might have it now as well, like when Kain is in mist form and he's hit by these wee like energy projectors, it might start to have him like lose his form a bit and all and go into like a wee mist ball for a couple of seconds and then back to his own regular form. Just like to give it a more of a feel of like, you know, the spells having an impact and hurting and damaging them. Did we watching Castlevania on Netflix? Oh yes, absolutely. I've been I actually binge watched the first 2 seasons. I think it was last week or the week before as well, just to remind myself of the story of it. I'll definitely be watching season 3 when it comes. Because the Castlevania series was also a well, I was almost gonna say it's a favorite of mine, like, but actually, if I'm truthful, like, I haven't really played many of the Castlevania games except for Symphony of the Night. I absolutely love the Symphony of the Night game. It's another one of my go-to games. So I love the Symphony of the Night, but many of the original ones and all I haven't played. Nah, I actually own the most current ones, you know, the ones like are on the PC and the PS3 and such and all. I still own them, but I still haven't even got around to playing them. Might actually play them soon now that I think of it, actually, but maybe put them on a stream. Stream the Castlevania games now, and the stream is season 3 is so close now. I might next week stream them 2 Castlevania games for the PS3. Technically, I have them on PC, so. Stop shooting me with electricity! It's a shocking experience.
Save Victor! Save Victor! Save Victor!
I'm saying my 2 favorites would definitely be the Legacy of Kain and Symphony of the Night. Basically all the Legacy of Kain games, and then add little Symphony of the Night in at the end. Oh, absolutely stellar fun. Hey, these little poison smoke buggers, they're going to be an absolute nightmare to make just because of their the whole bone structure and rigging them is going to be a nightmare because of their legs and then the big red ones as well with the 4 arms. Just, oh. Anything over bipedal rigging skeletons is an absolute nightmare to get rigging and animating. There's like big programs and stuff in like Auto Rig Pro that can actually do a lot of that stuff easier now, but I haven't been able to get around to buying that yet. It's still on the pricey side for me. They're kind of separate from Unreal, so they're never actually on like a sale. At least I haven't seen them yet. I heard a lot of people say Curse of Darkness was good, but I haven't got around to trying it yet. I think a lot of people said the second one wasn't as good, but obviously if you start one you'd have to... You basically just have to play both. People, you have a demon in your house. Why are you still here? There is a demon in your living room.
I felt its eyes upon me, eager, hungry, as if it longed to rip my heart out and eat it before me as I died. I laughed as the onslaught began. Perhaps when it was over, it would be the other way around.
Do you do Magic the Gathering or any card games? I like the Yu-Gi-Oh games for like some card games. It was always a little interesting one. I've got the God, I forget the name. I forget the name of it now. The one on Steam. I think it was recently released on the Switch as well. But I've got that Yu-Gi-Oh game. I do play that every now and then just for a wee little bit of mindless action and fun. So I like for card games, I like Yu-Gi-Ohs for the fun of them. Magic the Gathering, I haven't played that. Well, to say I haven't played the original of what the actual game is. You know, the whole like board games type of thing and all, and tabletops and all that kind of thing. The only actual Magic the Gathering game I ever played was one on the PS1. It's called Battle Mage. I think I've actually got a copy of it somewhere there on my shelf. Yeah, it was like a wee, you know, like strategy type of thing. You know, the wee map game. You know, you have like it was similar to like Legacy Kain. It was the isometric view. You know, you look down. You use the cards, you know, to build up your mana powers and all. Then you summon the wee monsters and you send them over to attack the other battle mage that's on the battlefield with you and all over the distance. You can use things and all to like block and barricade them and send your own monsters to attack and all. So it was fun. Thanks for following, Adam. But the actual tabletop versions of Magic the Gathering, I've never actually tried them at all. Series of I wouldn't even really know any of the characters in all the game except for just the ones that was on the wee PS1 game that was fun to play. I was a sucker for the PS1 games. It's actually a shame just how how many of the old mid-tier games have just aren't made anymore because all the AAA companies want just the big, they want their big billion dollar just franchises that make them hundreds of millions every year, every single year with the same thing over and over. Sadly, the whole mid-tier level games. My God, look at this many enemies. Let's have a bit of fun. The whole mid-tier level of games, unfortunately, basically disappeared after the PS2 era. A few hung around for the PS3, but not many really survived, unfortunately.
Avernus was a religious autocracy, with the cathedral as its dais of power.
Which is highly unfortunate. Another one of my favourite RPGs that I ever played for the PS2 was the game Shadow Hearts. I absolutely loved that game. I loved the first one and the second one. I absolutely hated the third one because they changed up everything and brought in whole new characters and all. Just basically it was a cash grab of the series without keeping anything. Is there a statue of Hashak Gig in the bloody right in the cathedral itself? With wings too. That's a bit of a slap in the face of the vamps. Yeah, I love the Shadow Hearts series on the PS2 was one of my classic favorites for the PS2 in terms of like RPGs.
Save Victor!
Soul River stage? What stage? Yeah, you get away from me, you big bugger. Yeah, the Reaver and the Wraith Armor are in Avernus in the Heaven and Hell locations. Although remarkably, I never actually used the Reaver all that much in this game. Originally, I always just used the flame sword. I find it was quicker, to be able to just have the one-handed blade and still be able to use spells and stuff and all. The two-handed stuff and all where you couldn't use spells always was always a little too restricting that I wasn't a fan of. So I usually just stuck to like the one-handed weapon so I could just keep using spells and magic at the same time. Of course, I use it every now and then just to watch gather a mass of enemies around, and then swing the sword and just watch them all explode all over the place. It did, yeah. It's I think you can get like maybe a max of like 3, maybe 4 swings, and then all your magic is just depleted, and it takes ages to restore it. Even with energy bank, it's a hell of a hit to your actual magic supply. Then to just lose that much. I might lower the actual mana amount required for it just a little teeny tiny bit while I when I make up the mechanics for the actual Reaver. I've made up the blade and all already. I've got the Soul Reaver blade itself actually made now. I just haven't set up the mechanics of it yet now for like taking the mana and all, doing the extra damage when you're using mana in the attacks and such and all, like, so that's still all to be implemented, and some decent like sword swing animations for it. Yes, the Reaver is it's a fun blade to use just to see everything, you know, just explode all around you and such and all. But it was always just too taxing to really get all the fun out of. So I might have to fix that. I think we all want the Reaver to just go nuts with it. Swing Raziel around like he's an absolute soul-sucking demon. Buggers keep hitting me just before I can get blood without losing health. Get away from me, you. Very true. It would be fun to have, but also you also have to keep in mind a few of the actual mechanics now, just as you don't make Kain a little bit too part of the game is basically just a breeze to walk through and too easy. Because like if you've got like the Soul Reaver, you can just swing constantly at random and watch all the bodies explode. Then you have repel up and all to absorb all damage, and then the Chaos Armor that returns that damage to the enemies. It's just all. I think that's all a bit. That's too much of a collection of OP to really make the game any fun, because you're basically just going to be invincible. And that is never anything I ever found appealing when you're playing a game. Just when people use things like, you know, for invincibility modes and all that kind of thing. It took away the fun of the game. There was no challenge there when you're basically invincible. At least this now, just being how old it is now, you can just choose when to use the repel and how often or how little. Oh wow, this is going to be a a fun spot to make up. An absolute nightmare for the amount of mesh models I'll need from skeletons and such now, but it actually will be fun to make up this area. This will be a most places I'll try and tweak up and all and add a wee bit extras to make a bit bigger and such and all, but this location here I think I probably will keep as basically as it is now, but just obviously more detailed and up to date, like the wee skull arches there, the wee fire cages, the wee two bloody altars. No, yeah, I like this wee stage here. I don't know why the audio for this book never reads for me. Unless I'm imagining where it wasn't read out, but I always remembered there was like a deep voice that read this. I think maybe my The audio for it got lost when I was ripping this into an ISO file. You always have to. You always get a few little glitches when you're doing that shit. Geralt has basically has been a he's been the kind of like the idea, a lot of my ideas behind the this whole like third person version of the Legacy of Kain was always the. I just kept thinking of it as like imagine a Blood Omen where you're like you're basically like you're moving around like Geralt. Just you're the Witcher with fangs. Fighting games I used to enjoy playing. I used to love playing the Mortal Kombat series. I played some of the Tekken series, but I prefer the Mortal Kombat series with actual characters and the fun of them. The Tekken ones I played as well, but a lot of years ago I got a boxer break in my hand and all that, so it actually it affected the mobility of my thumb, so I can't really do many fighting games anymore. Don't have the mobility in my thumb anymore to really like like insanely fast button mashing for required fighting games anymore. I'm actually surprised some people haven't added like mods to some fighting games and all to add some of the Legacy of Kain characters to those fighting games. I know a lot of people do it for like the Skyrim and all because it's got like a huge modding community and all this. So there's been some. I've seen like pictures and all of mods of like having Raziel in the game and Kain's armor and the Soul Reaver and even the pillars location and such and all. There's been a few like Legacy Kain mods and such and all for that, which was always fun to see. But not many other games really do it. But then again, I suppose there wasn't like really huge abundance of older games that really supported mods and such and all from that kind of genres. Don't run into the arrows, Kain. It's not good for you. See, I never understood in this location why Kain has this weird friction, slow motion feeling when he's walking up the steps. I don't know why the game has that. Just see how he just suddenly slows when he's walking upstairs. I don't know why they decided to add that to the game. It's not really essential for anything. It's just weird. But even at steep, I mean, Kain technically is a vampire, so superhuman strength and all, so walking up steps shouldn't really tire him. He shouldn't be that fragile, even as a fledgling. This location for all this random teleporting. You feel like a bloody jack-in-the-box. I think this whole area will all have to be like just one individual. Oh, excuse me. Oh, choke myself there. This whole area I think will just have to be like one major map where instead of like teleporting different maps, you just zip to be different areas on the map and all. It'll make it quicker with no loading times and easier to code for. red one. Oh, this might be it. Yahoo! Finally! We have reached heaven! Let's pick up Raziel.
Time fades even legend, and the origin of Soul Reaver has been lost long ago. But its purpose remains, to feed on the souls of any creature it strikes. Kindred, this blade and I.
I always love that line, time fades, even legend. Bless me, Father, for you have sinned.
Save Victor!
Who brought the hellhound to the cathedral? What the? No, I was trying to use repel, not the blood-sucking. I don't think this game is really designed for analog controls and all. There, I think I remember this was the this was even before analog and all, where they used the D-pad. So I think when you use the analog stick and all, kind of sometimes flickers to one of the other spells or abilities when you don't want it to. God, if I even remember the days when I used to play this on the D-pad and my thumbs would be absolutely killing me. You'd be losing all feeling in your thumbs just from them bloody sharp cornered D-pads. Silicon Knights. I don't think they own the series anymore. I think Square Enix basically owns all the rights to it, at least as far as I know. They own. I know there was for the actual Blood Omen, like the original one. I know there was a bit of like a legal dispute between Silicon Knights and Square Enix, or not Square Enix. Crystal Dynamics, I think at the time there was a bit of a legal disputes on ownership and such now, but I think all that's basically been pretty much cleared up now. Whereas where Square Enix just holds the whole, they own all the rights to the Legacy series now. And they have they basically have they've allowed me to continue their indie developer, the director of indie development now has basically assured me that I'll be getting they have no intention of stopping my project. So there'll be no cease and desist letters or any of that nonsense to carry on. Which was a huge weight off my shoulders. I didn't want to. After 3 years, I didn't want to be stuck down after 3 years, working on a thing, and then suddenly get a let her know, please stop what you were doing. Oh, sugar. I don't want to stop. I think the all the voice acting from the original thing, the original game and such and all I can use, and obviously you know, I can add a few of my own new voices and sound effects and such and all, obviously with proper ownerships and you know, copyrights and such and all in place. They'll have the even said like all the time they're before any kind of release or publishing of the thing and all, they'll have their legal team go over it and all to make sure there's all copyrights and such and all are followed and up to snuff, so there'll be no making sure that I use all the proper everything you've used now is either my own design or their stuff you got the you've got the right to use. So I will be me and the team have basically been planned like we're gonna add a bit more like voice work to some of the NPCs, especially the female ones. And all there's basically like I think there was only like one woman that done the voices for every female character in the game. Just all have the same female voice, right? So we're gonna try and add a few more female voices and a bit more interaction with some of the citizens now. Like I said, if I can add like the notoriety system and all, where depending on how what you do in a town, all depends on how the citizens and all would approach you and all, or be scared of you, or run away from you, or call the guards, or that kind of thing. I didn't know much about the Silent Hills remakes. Although I do know like the Konami is insanely protective of all copyrights and stuff and all. They've taken their own employees to court now just for their own protections of copyrights and all their carry on. They're absolutely insane company. Like they're basically known as complete tyrants when it comes to all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did have like legal issues with their own departments and all for the like use of sounds and even from their own games. They literally Konami has no respect even for their own licenses. It's one of the reasons why we haven't had good Castlevania games in decades. They don't care about gaming. They just want bloody pachinko machines and all that bloody mobile gaming nonsense. They don't care about actual games anymore. In fact, even when Castlevania had like its 30th birthday and all, they didn't even acknowledge it except for their European branch. So I wouldn't be at all surprised not if they did have like legal issues with their own, even with their own remakes. Did they have a mobile Silent Hill game too? Of course, wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, no, but Konami wouldn't be surprised. Like everything, they basically tried to turn all their games into microtransaction riddled mobile games and bloody pachinko machines. You could tell I'm not a huge fan of Konami itself. Actually, I love Castlevania Symphony of Night, but Konami is, oh, they're a trial of a company. Sadly, that's the way most games these days now. I think most games get insanely repetitive just very quickly. Especially now that they want them to be games now, they want them all to be live services. When you buy a game, then you have to keep paying them money to play the thing. This is another badass location.
This armor was spawned in the most impure of spirit forges.
I think I've actually got a big set of dragon armor model somewhere that I can use actually to build into the wall here.
Only partially in the human realm, causing it to fade between tangible and ethereal states.
The walls, I think I'll have to make up some sort of like fleshy material and all, like red brick and all. Maybe give it like a blood texture type to the feeding to the walls, and maybe skulls sticking out of it. And this poor sucker, I think he had it even worse than Malik. I think that was that's Malik's skeleton there that we saw in the opening scene. Basically, we kept his skeleton here. The poor bugger's been hanging there for what? I think that was probably like 300-400 years or something. You know, I actually think it would have been 500 years. And the murder of Janos then to the rise of Kain, I think it was somewhere around the 500-year mark, if I remember right. This, of course, will obviously still be in my version. The only difference is, I think we're in my version. I might have to put it on like a giant like window instead of the ceiling, because obviously isometric view versus third-person view things that have to be changed up a wee bit now. Where I might have it like a big giant, either a large wall mirror like, or a huge window and all will have this this wee image, but I don't see much point of having it on the ceiling for a game that isn't going to be isometric.
Above me stood a memory, etched in stained glass.
Well, Malik's weapon should have been quite a bit longer. Don't think of it, so should Vorador's. That's not the Bone Reaver.
Ah, what's this? I had not even realized the blade and the raiment were here. You wear those trinkets well, Kain. But I do believe that they would look better on me.
The matriarch of Avernus, the Lady Azimuth. Her magical planing skills summon demons through runes inscribed in human blood.
Okay, first things first. Health. Needing health. I'm not going in there fighting her with no health. And then repel. We'll have the flame sword.
Flame sword. Flame sword. Blood shower. Antitoxin.
Where is it?
Energy bank.
Yes, I think we'll use energy bank in case we
Energy
decide to
bank.
use the Reaver at some point for some bit of extra damage against the demons.
Chaos armor.
Chaos armor, flame sword. What spells have we got?
Blood shower. Spirit death. Stun. Incapacitate.
I wonder if that one will work on her to stop her teleporting. Might try it at some point just to see.
Incapacitate.
Seriously doubt it'll work, but it's worth a try.
Sanctuary.
Come to me, my children. We shall ravage Nosgoth together. So, little man, have they sent you to stop me?
This fight actually be a nightmare. This is the one. It's the one fight that can be an absolute nightmare to get because of the current patch has put you up to like 60 frames. So the 60 frames also has her teleporting faster than she probably should. It is interesting that you can kind of trick her projectiles into hitting the demons.
The Heart of Darkness.
They're zooming around me. Oh, come on, I was just about to swing the sword. Okay.
The Soul Reaver.
Got you that time. It definitely takes like a huge chunk of your magic just using this.
For all her magic, the Lady Azimuth was little trouble. Once her demonic thralls had been dispatched, she
The Reaver does stellar damage to her, though.
Third eye,
I think she's probably extremely weak to the Reaver, probably just because you find it here in Avernus.
Into other realms. The pillar reclaims its own.
It's always a shame just how pixelated Kain became in this. After time, probably looks even worse on me just because I'm on a 4K monitor, so it probably looks even more pixelated than it should be.
It will deliver you in time.
Okay, I think we'll end the stream there for tonight, folks. Hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, as I've said before, if you follow the links to my Twitch, it will take you to my YouTube channel, where you'll find these videos uploaded. There's also a donation button there if you would like to support my project to remake the original Blood Omen. In 2 weeks' time, I will be doing a stream with the Dead House Sonata team, on the 13th of March at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you want to check that out and ask more questions, then there will be even more chatting then. So once again, like, subscribes, donate if you wish, and I'll see you all probably either tomorrow or the next day. We'll follow this on and kill the rest of the Guardians, and then start unlocking some secrets. I will indeed. I'll go and check out those comics now before I go to bed. See if I can get them downloaded and things. So I will see you all next stream. Have fun. Peace out.